So hi guys, I'm welcome to a new video. So I'm recording this video here with the front cam of the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, and I have to say that this front cam is much better than I have expected it to be. And yeah, it's really amazing. But this is not the topic today. Today we are going to compare the S9 Plus with the S7 Edge, but the thing will be that the S7 Edge will run on an S9 ROM. So the system or the software will be the same on both phones, and the only thing which will be different is the hardware, of course. So I think this is a really interesting comparison, so stay tuned for that.
Right guys, so here on the right side I got the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, and on the left side I got the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. So this phone here was released in 2016, in the first quarter of 2016, and this phone here was released in the first quarter of 2018. So there are 2 years of differences between these two phones. But as you can see, both of the phones look really similar in terms of software. So you can see that I got almost the same setup on both phones. So both of them are running on an S9 ROM. This here is the stock ROM, and this here is the normal S9 Plus ported ROM by SAC23. Right, and now let's start with the test. So guys, now let's start with a normal comparison. So first of all, both of the phones are running on the same Android software. As I've told you before, both of them have an S9 ROM installed, and the hardware is the only thing which is different. So on the right side here we got the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, which runs with the Exynos 9810 octa-core processor, and the S7 Edge runs with the 8890 Exynos octa-core processor. So the S7 Edge basically has an 2 years old processor inside, but it's still a really good processor. In terms of RAM, there's also a small difference. So here on the right side we got 6 GB of RAM. So on the normal S9 you also get 4 GB RAM, and the S7 Edge has also got 4 GB of RAM, but it's still enough to do really good multitasking on this phone. Right, after talking about the specs and the software, now let's start with the app opening test. Right guys, so I'm going to split this app opening test into 2 parts. So in the first part of this app opening test we are basically going to compare how long these two phones need to open these apps, and in the second part of this app opening test we are basically going to do a more normal multitasking, where I think that the S9 Plus will win because it has much more RAM, or 2 GB more RAM than the S7 Edge, so it has a big advantage when it comes to multitasking. But both of the phones are running on the same software, and this may affect the results. Yeah, so now let's start with the app opening test. First of all, I'm going to clean the recent apps section here. So as you can see, we haven't opened anything in the background. Right, now let's start with the camera first of all, and I think it was the S7 Edge which was faster here, so this is a really impressive result here. So now let's try that again. So camera, and it was the S7 Edge again, so this is really impressive. I haven't expected this. Now let's open some different apps. Now let's open my files, for example, and this was quite close, but I think the S7 Edge was the winner again. So it's 2-0 for the S7 Edge. Right, now let's open a third-party app like YouTube, and it was the S7 Edge again. It loaded the thumbnails much faster than the S9 Plus. 3-0 for the S7 Edge with the S9 ROM. Right. Now let's open something standard like the settings. Okay, the S9 Plus was faster here. It's 3-1 for the S7 Edge. Yeah, now let's open Facebook. And the S7 Edge was much faster than the S9 Plus. So to be honest, I haven't expected this S7 Edge to be so fast with the S9 ROM. Right, now let's open the Play Store, and the S7 Edge won again. So as you can see, the S7 Edge with the S9 ROM and with some small tweaks in it is much faster than the S9 Plus here. So as you can see, you can still get the maximum performance on your too old device here. So this is really amazing to see. Now let's launch a game. So I've downloaded Subway Surfers on both phones and I haven't opened it since now. So now let's open it the first time. And it seems like the S7 Edge will load it quicker. And here we go. And as you can see, there was a big difference on both phones. The S7 Edge loaded the game much faster. Let's do a normal web browsing test. So now let's open the Samsung internet on both phones and let's press on the home here. And yeah, the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus took a little bit longer here to load this web page. So let's open GSM Arena. Three, two, one. And I think this was quite similar on both phones. So both phones are the winner here, if you ask me. But yeah. Now let's open Samsung Music on both phones. And okay, this wasn't fair because I haven't set up Samsung Music on the S7 Edge yet. So now let's close it and open it again. I think the S9 Plus was a little bit quicker than the S7 Edge here. Let's try the clock app. Okay, this was really fast on both phones, I have to say. So this is really amazing. As you can see, it hasn't even took 1 millisecond to open these apps. It was only the animation here. So let's try it again. This was really fast. Wow, this is amazing, guys. Yeah, so this should be it. I mean, I think we have opened a lot of apps already. Now let's test the multitasking here. So we don't need to test the multitasking of the camera, but we can test the multitasking of the My Files app. And as you can see, kept in storage on both phones. YouTube, kept in storage on both phones. Settings, kept in storage on both phones. But it seemed like the S7 Edge took a little bit longer to open this app. Facebook, okay, both of the phones have refreshed the feed, and the S9 Plus says something like session expired. I don't know why. Yeah, a small issue over there. Play Store, kept in storage on both phones. Subway Surfers, this is interesting, kept in storage on both phones. So this is really nice. The Samsung Internet Explorer has also been kept in storage. So as you can see, both of the phones are still really good when it comes to multitasking. I mean, 4 GB of RAM is not less, and 6 GB is really amazing on a phone. So if you ask me, you don't need to buy a OnePlus 6 or so with 8 GB of RAM. I mean, it's not necessary in 2018 yet. Right, so this was the app opening test. Now let's start with the Antutu Benchmark. So here we go, guys. I've installed Antutu Benchmark on both phones and I haven't opened it yet. So now let's open it. Let's allow all the permissions here. Next. And let's say test. Allow. So guys, here are the results. As you can see, the S9 Plus here has got a really amazing score here, over 200,000. But the difference is not that big on both phones. So you can see that the S7 Edge has 176,000 points here. So this is a really amazing number for the S7 Edge. I mean, I don't think that you will get this number here with the stock ROM on the S7 Edge. So there's difference of 40,000 or so, I think, but 40,000 is not a really big difference if you think or if you keep in mind that this phone here is 2 years old, or even 2.5 years old, while this here is just a few months old. Right, guys, so this was my test of the S7 Edge with the S9 ROM against the normal S9. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up as always, and if you didn't like this video, give it a dislike, and peace out.